Hello, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me. If you are watching live, please post your name in the chat. Or just post a message in the chat if your name on YouTube is the same as your actual name, and that way I know who to give a positive behavior point on Show My Homework. I might also give out a point for contribution to the lesson as well. So hopefully we can see what people are doing. Okay. Wonderful. Good. Let's get started with the lesson then. So we have, Oliver, you're going to have to make it clearer which Oliver you are, because there's two Olivers in the full year. So please make it very clear which Oliver you are. Okay, so it's my birthday tomorrow, Rayhan, and yeah, same thing. So today's lesson would have been about the setting up for the programming project, but I'm going to show you a quick Twitter conversation I had with AQA. Let me just check the yeah. So this is a quick Twitter conversation I've had. Let me be able to see what I'm doing. Quick Twitter conversation I've had from AQA. So I said the CS programming project is being released. Are teachers expected to use that time in class, or are AQA going to allow students to complete it as home learning? AQA have replied, the rules around the GCSE NEA in section 3.9.2.3 of the specification are Ofqual rules. So Ofqual are the people who decide all the rules for exams, all the exam boards. And any relaxation of these would have to be done by Ofqual. So we are not allowed to let you see the programming project yet. But what I can do is go through with you like a regular lesson on some of the things that might come up in the thing. Now, all of these things have been in previous programming projects before, creating menus, reading from files, and string manipulation. So they are the main three things I'm going to be focusing on today, okay? So what I would like us all to do is open up codecollab.io. I'm going to post that in the chat, codecollab.io. And what I'd like you to do is, once you get to that screen, click on Get Started, and then type in Python. And hopefully you've got Python 3 will show up like this. And you're going to click Create Project. Once you have done that, type in your name. So I'll put in Mrs. McMaster. Okay. And then what I want you to do is share this with me. So copy the link and then put it into the chat so that I can see all of your different codes, and we can all see each other's as well. Okay. So I've put that in the wrong place, obviously. Yeah. So on codecollab.io, sorry, can you put in the chat? You're going to have to be more specific than that, Rayhan. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What's it and what's the channel? So what Code Collab allows me to do is allows me to so codecollab.io is a website. You'll need to type it into a browser of some sort. It will be harder to do this on a phone than on a laptop, but hopefully you have access to a laptop or a computer. Yes, Python 3 is what we need to be on. Python 2.7 is the older version of Python, and it has some different syntax that we wouldn't be able to use. So, as I was saying, codecollab.io is a website. So you can. It's actually if I was, you could put in https / codecollab.io. So hopefully you'll be able to open it onto some sort of device that you can code on, so you can watch this video and maybe in another tab code at the same time, because I'm not going to have a lot of stuff going on the screen today. But I would like you to send me the link that you have for your code collab so that I can see what you're doing as well. Because when you send me that link, I can see you coding, I can see you typing, I can even add in things myself onto it. Now, obviously, yes, please send me the link. So just click share and then send me what you've got so that I can see what you are up to. So again, you go on codecollab.io. Let me just make sure I can see this screen. Codecollab.io, click on this big Get Started button, and then search for Python 3. And it comes up like that, Python 3, create project. You don't need to log in, you just need to type in a name here. So Mrs. McMaster. And then you would click on this file here, and you can, for example, type in print hello world, and then you can click run, and it will run over here, hello world. And then you can click share, copy link, and then paste it in the chat so that I can see what you are doing. It usually has like a three-word information here. So this one, for example, is soup, stew, weather. If you just type that into the chat, if you don't have it on the same device, then that I should be able to access it that way anyway. So in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at creating menus, reading from files, and string manipulation. Okay, so creating menus, what I would like us to do is to try and create a menu using our def function, DEF function. Okay, so still not getting any links through. I need to be able to see these, please, as soon as possible. But so yes, Kasim, so you will need to go on to a website called codecollab.io. Okay, codecollab.io. Good, thank you, Kennedy. Codecollab.io, click get started. You need to do this on a browser of some sort, if that's Chrome or whatever other things you have. Click get started, maybe open another tab if you're on a desktop device, so you can see the stream and do this at the same time. Click get started, search for Python 3, and click on create project. And then you can start typing your code in this bit here where it says main.py and then blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, so a few people trying to get it all set up. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. So just to be clear, if we got both Olivers in the chat. So we've got 13 people here. And let me just pull this over back for a minute. So I'm going to have Joe, you're able to see the fact that you're on the YouTube thing right now means that you've got the YouTube link already, so you shouldn't need it twice. Okay. Okay, so I've only got a couple so far. Come on, I still need more, if possible. So what I would like us to do, those of you who've managed to get it set up, I see, right. So on the, it should be, so the on Show My Homework, it should be this week's lesson. So the one that's set for today's homework, April 1st. So if you could just send the link to me in the chat, that would be easier than trying to send it in Satchel 1 because I haven't always got that open. So I've got Kennedy's and I've got Jordan's so far. Yeah. Kennedy, don't forget your brackets. It does say, did you? Okay, wonderful. So hopefully we're going to get started properly in a moment. I'm hoping we can get more done. I probably should have sent this through beforehand, but I haven't received a link from you, Rayhan. You need to send me either the 3-word code that you've got, like Caleb's just done there, just in the chat. Okay, here we go. I'm getting some more in now. Wonderful. So well, okay, right. So we've got a few coming through. So well done for those who were working that out. If you've seen me type in your name into the thing, then I've definitely got yours set up. But I'm just having to get that all set up so that we've got everything correctly done. So I've got a couple more to do. Oops. So Rayhan, just a quick oh sorry, who is so another demo again for the 4th time now. I go to the website called, again, I've got to pull it over. So I've gone to, at the top of the page here, codecollab.io. Okay. That's what I've typed into my browser. And then I click Get Started, and then I click on, in fact, I can even scroll to find it, Python 3, okay? So where it says Get Started, I type Python 3. I've typed it so many times, it's come up as an autofill option. So Python 3, I then click Create Project, okay? And then it asks me for a name. So I'm going to type in Mrs. McMaster, just to kind of, that's who's typing. And then I click on main down the side here. And then I've got a 3-word code here. So this one's detail credit route or something like that. And then I can just start typing in here. I can type in my code. I can do what I need to do. So that's what you need if you've got those. So the ones I've got Kennedy's, I've got Jordan's, I've got Caleb's, I've got Oliver Mondle's, and I've got Oliver Hughes. So far. Oh, and I should have Fadger's as well, because I was in the middle of getting that one up. But please keep the name in there so I know whose is whose, because I've got lots open at the moment. So I've got Fadger's. There we go. Ah, lovely. Rayhan, I've got yours now. Or I will get yours in just a moment. There we go. Rayhan, you should have just seen me type your name in there. Oh, lovely, Joe. I've got yours. Apologies for taking so long to get this sorted. I just wanted to make sure I've got everyone's in. Tom, have you sent me the link of yours yet? Because I haven't seen yours. Yeah, Joe, I'm getting to you. Please don't post more than once, because I'm not going to be able to see other people's when you do that. Okay. I'm just getting there. So this one is Kasim, isn't it? If you see me type your name into your version of the thing, then I should be able to see it. Oh, if you have sent me the link rather than the 3-word code, then it probably doesn't show up, because it doesn't allow me to see the links that you post, because YouTube deletes any links you post automatically, which is probably why some of you were having problems earlier trying to send me the link. So I've got Kennedy, I've got Jordan, I've got Caleb, I've got Oliver Mondle, I've got Oliver Hughes. Oh, I've got that twice for some reason. That's frustrating. I've got Rayhan, I've got Kasim. I'm sure I had Fadger earlier. Let me just get that back up. Right, okay. Okay. So let's make a start. Okay. So again, you'll need to send me your 3-word code if yours is not is if you've had to reconnect or disconnect or such like. Okay. Um, but so what I would like us to do is to try and have a go at those different things. Okay. So um, so what you should be able to do is type in to the chat, not into the chat, into your code, the information about today's lesson. So have a go at from using your brain and from using some of the slides we've used in previous lesson at creating some menus, having a go at reading from files. Now, to do that on this, I'm just going to show you on Kennedy's one for a moment because that's the one I have open. So, in fact, no, don't need it on Kennedy's one because I already had one open. Let me just show you here. So you will need to click this button here to add a file, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine text file.txt. Okay, and now I've got a text file.txt, and I can type whatever I want into it, and then I can go back to my code and run, and it will work as though you've saved that in the same folder in the program. Okay. So please can you have a go at creating some menus, reading from some files, and I'm going to have a look and see what you are doing in your code. Yeah, so Rayhan, it should say open a file to get started. So click on where it says main.py to get started. To be able to start typing your code. So yeah, Kennedy, try and run some code rather than just talking about the fact that you're on an iPad. So not just random code, some code about creating a menu and reading from a file. And so using some of the information we have in previous lessons, I want you to try and use those kind of things to so remember how we use def, DEF, to set up a name for things, to create a menu, to do different parts of the program. Please make sure you don't delete your name because otherwise I don't know who you are. I think that's Tom, isn't it? Oops. Apologies. So Joe, if you are in, just checking that I've got yours here. No, I don't. Did you send me a thing earlier, Joe? You did, but yeah, okay. I didn't copy that one in. So you click on where it says main.py at the side. And then you start typing. Yeah, Kasim, I've got yours. You see where it says main.py? You click on that, and then you can start typing your code in there. So a reminder, when we are doing functions, it will be def, and then menu, for example, if that's what you want to call it, open, close brackets, and then your colon, okay? And then you type in what you want it to do. So Oliver, make sure you've clicked on where it says main.py or tapped on that if you're on a bigger device. If you are on a mobile device, this will be a lot harder. Are you on a mobile device or not? Good start, Rayhan. I'm glad to see you're doing this text file.txt bit. So yeah, what we're trying to do, there are 3 things I want. It doesn't really matter what order you do this in, but I want you to either create a menu. In fact, let me take this off your screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. Create a menu, read from a file, or do some string manipulation. So I want to see that you are capable of doing this. If you have any particular questions, just post them in the chat so I can. Yeah, Oliver H can't see what's going on. Yeah, if you're on, do you have any device that you can do it other than mobile? Because this is going to be a lot harder on mobile. Oliver H, not Oliver M. So Fadja, if you don't forget to put the colon in as well. So, did I create that text file.txt by accident or? Okay. Kasim, are you on? So yeah, you are either creating a menu, creating a file and then trying to read from it, or you're trying to do some string manipulation. I don't really mind which order you do these in. Just have a go at creating one of those 3 things. Well done, Jordan. That's good. So, okay, the people that don't seem to be connected properly yet are Oliver H, who's probably connected on a phone, which is why this is an issue. Kasim, please make sure you've clicked the button that says main.py at the side, underneath where it says shake start low. And then I've got Fadja's doing okay. Tom's doing okay. Oh, Kasim, you've got 2 open. You've got shake start low and geese swift range, as far as I can tell. So whichever one you've got open, absolutely you can use the tiny URL. If you want to try and figure out some different things, have a go at that. That will absolutely help you. So I'm just going to create my own one for a moment, just to help you out, because I know a few people are going, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't get it, etc. So I'm going to just pull in my version. Might zoom in a bit so you can see what's going on. Might be a bit harder to do that, but if I click on the side, main.py, okay, and then it's got this number 1 that's appeared, and hopefully if I've connected to it, then it should also have my your name in there. Now this is going to be very difficult to see because it's very dark. We can adjust the size of this. Good. So I've typed in my name there, and then I'm just going to put in def, as in define a function, and this is going to be a menu. Okay, defining a menu, and in this menu I'm going to do lots of different things. So I might kind of get it, in fact I might actually ask it to read from a file and do some string manipulation. Those are the 2 different things I'm going to ask it to do. So I'm going to ask the user for an input. Answer equals input. Okay, and then I'm going to ask them, in fact before I do that, I'm going to put in print which option would you like, question mark, and then I'll do print number 1, speech marks, number 1, read a file, print number 2, string manipulation. Okay, so these are the options that we have. Okay, which option would you like? Read a file, string manipulation. And then I'm going to say if answer equals, don't forget double equals, and then I'm going to put in speech marks and number 2, just so then I don't have to convert to an integer and all of that lot. Not 2, number 1 first. And then I'm going to put my colon. Don't forget your colons in your if statements, guys. If my answer is equal to 1, then I'm going to say, I'm going to go to read file. Now, I haven't created this yet, but this is going to be a function as well, like def read file, okay? And then elif answer equals 2. And then speech marks, colon, okay? If the answer is equal to 2, then I want it to, when you create files in this, Tom, it will act as though the file is saved in the exact same folder. So all you need to do is open and then just the name of the file .txt or whatever you've called it, so that it doesn't it saves it as though it's saved in the same folder as the Python file that would be saved in your in regular Python. I've got my read file. I also want string manipulation, so string manip. Okay, so I've got, let me make sure I've spelled that right. String manip. Okay, and that's basically all I need for the menu. Okay, then I'm going to create a function for each of these 2 things. So one for read file, def read file, and then this will read a file, and then def string manip will manipulate string. In fact, I'm going to put, didn't mean to do that, but I can actually use that to my advantage. I'm going to put that in a print statement so that I can run this code, I can test this code to see that it works. Okay, I've got print read file, print manipulate string. So if I run the code, it's saved for me. and then wait for it to actually connect. Oh yeah. So is there something gone wrong here? I don't know why it's not loaded. Run the code. Let me just check it over this side because it might be something I can't see. No. Oh, of course, that was silly of me. I haven't actually called any of these functions yet. So I need to call menu, open close brackets, because otherwise it's not going to do anything. I press run, and then here we go. Which option would you like? 1, read a file. 2, string manipulation. If I type in 1, hopefully, if I typed it correctly, hang on, that's why. Hadn't selected the right place because I couldn't see it from over here. Number 1, and then it says read file, okay? And what I could do is the same thing again. I could get it in a loop while true. Ooh, no, my keyboard disappeared for a moment there. While true. I haven't spelt while correctly, so I'll make sure that's been spelt correctly. While true. And run the code, okay? Yes, these live streams are all being saved to my YouTube channel, but you have to have the link. So you might want to just save the links that I post on Show My Homework so you can refer to them later. All of them will be saved on YouTube, but they are saved as an unlisted link, so they're not just shared around the world. They're just shared to people who have the link to the program. Okay, so which option would you like? I would like option number 1. Again, it's not selected properly. Number 1. I type that in, press enter. It says read file. Then it goes back again. Which option would you like? 2. Then it says string manipulation. Hang on, no. Yeah, it says here string manipulate string. Sorry. Which option would you like? So it asks me over and over again. So as Kennedy's just asked, I'm going to just review what I've done so far. So I've created a function and I've called it menu. All I've done here is I've created a print statement, which is saying, which option would you like? Would you like option number 1, which is going to be reading a file, or would you like option number 2, which is going to be manipulating a string? Okay. Then I'm going to ask the user for an input. And I'm going to store that in the variable called answer. We've done this hundreds of times before, I'm sure. Okay. Then if their answer is equal to the number 1, I've made that a string. I've put that in quotes because it's when the user types in, it's a string, isn't it? If the answer is 1, then it will go to read file. It will go to this function here, def read file. And at the moment, all that does is prints out something that says read file, okay? Later, we'll change that. And then if the answer is 2, it says string, it goes to a function called string manip instead, okay? If you've got any specific things you want me to have a look at, then please let me know. I'm not going to be writing these in, I'm not going to be looking at all your code at the same time because I can only do one at a time. So if you want me to see your code, then you need to actually post in the chat because I am keeping an eye on the chat, but I'm not keeping an eye on your code at the same time. So if the answer is 2, it goes to the string manip section. And this bit here just says constantly repeat while true, which means loop. I'm going to keep doing this. And that's why at the side here, it keeps coming up with the same thing over and over again. What I might do as well is put in an extra print so that in between you can see the difference, okay? So that is basically my menu, okay? Let's have a look. Okay, right, good. So yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is get a file to be read. Now, a couple of you have managed to do this. I've just had a quick look through some of your functions so far. You have created a function, a way of reading a file. So you have remembered how we open files. So well done for remembering that, or for looking it up. Either way, however you did it, you worked it out. So that's important. Okay. So Fadger, let me have a quick look. Got Joe's, Tom's, there we go. Okay. So make sure you don't forget your colon here, and you don't forget your gaps at the beginning of each line. So your different things. Kennedy, have you opened a second one? Okay. So, right. I'm going to go back to this version that we've got here. So, how do we read files? So as I've seen a few of yours, I'm just going to remind you the best way that we open a file, and that is using the with statement. Some of you haven't done that. If you don't use the with statement, please remember that when you open a file, you need to make sure you close it again afterwards. Otherwise, some funny things might happen. So with open, and then I'm going to put file.txt, comma, and remember we're reading this file, so comma, speech marks are, I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so you can see all of this, and then close speech marks, close brackets, as file. And obviously I've got to actually create this file, which I hadn't done yet, so I'm going to just do that here, file.txt, okay? And if I want to open that file and do something with it, all I have to do is type here, here is the first line, here is the second line, etc., etc. Okay. So you've gone, so you can always switch between them, your main and your file. Okay. Now, file.txt as file. And then if you just want to, so you could either read from it even, or write to it. Or what's the third one? If you remember in the chat what the third one was, so you can read, write, or one last one. If you can remember what that is, you might get yourself a point. So I file.txt as file, and then I'm going to put file.read lines. That will allow me to create a list of each line. So append, well done. It's append, means adding to the end. So I need to save this into a variable. So my it's going to be a list of lines. So I'm just going to call it lines equals file.readlines. And then that just allows me to go, or even I can just do two ways of doing this. I could use that lines to because that's a list of lines in my code, or I can adjust it to do a, I'm trying to think of what I want here. instead of reading lines, I could just print out the file.read. I think that's how it was. I'm just going to run this to check, because I can't really remember if that's actually what it was. But again, I can't see what's going on here. So yeah, that's in the right place. So I'm going to pick option number 1, read a file. And then read file, here's the first line, here's the second line. Can you see that that is the same thing that I wrote in file.txt? Here's the first line, here's the second line, and then it left 2 gaps. So that's perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. And then it asked me again, what one would I like? If I adjust this file now, go back into this, here is the third line, hopefully, because that's just been saved. If I now go into this and I type in 1 again, it will show me here is the first, here is the second. Oh, it doesn't show me that third one. Probably because this is still running. So here we go. Have I got an error shown up? Yeah. So execution timed out. Any changes made have not been saved. So if I click run again, save complete, it allows me to type in number 1. And then again, I've got first line, second line, third line, okay? Read a file, string manipulation. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I can do a lot of things with files, but really the main thing I want to do is read a file. Sometimes I want to put it into a list, like this one here, put each line into a list, and sometimes I go, well, actually, this part of the list I want to be able to use for this, that, or the other. Okay. String manipulation. This is where some more interesting things are going to happen. So there's a lot of different kinds of string manipulation you can do, but one of the main ones I want us to do is to be able to split up text. So if maybe create a list full of items. So if, for example, I had in here item 1. So I've been creating an app for my husband's game, and he has in his game he has race, nationality, gender, race, nationality, gender. What else does he have in there? My goodness, height, and so on and so on. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that for now. Race, nation, gender, height. What I can then do is say in race, I can say the race would be, I don't know, human. Nation would be England. Gender would be female. And height, if I keep it at the same thing, so 1.4 meters, for example. I don't know exactly how tall that is. And then, so that's one item in my, oh, that's the thing I'd forgotten, name. Let's put name in, okay? So name, race, Mrs. Mook. Okay, Mrs. Mook, human, England, female, 1.4. I don't know if that's actually how tall I am. I should probably look that up because I don't know how tall I am in meters. But, and then I could say Kennedy. He's an elf. He's from Hobbiton for some reason, an elf that lives in Hobbiton. And then he is male, and he's really tall. He's 2 meters, 2.0 meters. And then I've got Joe. He's going to be a hobbit, and he's from trying to think of a place, Scotland. I don't know. Just you can kind of get the idea. Male, and he's very short, 1.0. Okay, so this is a list of all the different things that I want to save in there. Oh, I can add in Rayhan as well if he's going to laugh at everyone else. Rayhan, oh, I'm going to make you a hobbit as well. Yeah, you're from Wales and you're male and you are 0.8 meters tall. There we go. I would like to be able to access all of that data that I've written about all of these different people and be able to get all the different parts correct based on the different ones that I've got. So what I can do is I can read that file. I know we've already had two different options to read file and to do some string manipulation, but actually the first thing I'm going to do is read file. And actually, what I can do here is instead of file print read, etc., I can return the lines that I've just created. Okay, so lines equals file.read lines, and it's going to return lines. Okay, now, and so I'm going to say lines equals read file. Okay, that creates my file. And yeah, Thomas, the tiny URL is tinyurl.com/berrycs. I'll put it in here. url.com/berrycs. Okay, back to this. So lines is read file. I'm creating a list of, I've got a list of things. So the first line contains the information that I need. So whether it's a name, a race, a nation, gender, or height, yeah? So I'm going to then, where have I gone? Here. I'm going to say lines 0 is where I am storing my information. So info equals lines 0, okay? Okay, this looks complicated, but it, there's a lot to this. This is where the programming projects will become a bit more complicated. So info is lines 0, and then once I've done that, I can say, okay, I will print out and say, which option would you like? And then I can print out for I in range. Well, that's a point. Oh, that's a thing I need to do first. Hang on. So I'm going to create a new thing. So options equals lines. Sorry, no, I'm going to use info again. We'll just do this. Split. And then I'm going to split by commas. Okay. So, and you'll see why in a second. And I might put a space in there as well because there's always a space between each comma, as you'll probably see in a moment. Yeah, a space between each comma as well, after each comma, sorry. So where have I gone? It's scrolled back up again, which was confusing. So info is lines 0.split, okay? And then, so which option would you like? For I in range length of info. So I'm going to talk you through this. Now I'm going a bit fast here, but I'm trying to make sure we stick to time. So line 0 is that first line, yeah? Where we've got name, race, nation, gender, height, right? And split comma like that, what that does is it splits that up into a list. Cool. And in that list, we've got name, race, nation, gender, height. So 0 is the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then so on and so on. Okay. And if I split it like that, it gives me a list. So I'm going to print out I, comma. No, I'm not going to use comma. I'm going to use plus because I want to have a full stop after it. And then info, not info, yeah, info, I. Okay. Oh, okay. So what I've done here, I've got I plus, comma, and then I plus, sorry, speech marks, full stop, comma, which allows me to have a space in between it, info. So, and then I will leave it there for a minute and just run it, just so you can see what's happening, because there's a lot of stuff that's gone on there. So again, I want string manipulation as my option. So I've got, I've got an error. Let's see what the error is. It's because I have an integer and it wants to, so I'm going to turn this, sorry, not into an integer. I'm going to turn this I into a string because it's not correct. It's not going to be able to print out that correctly otherwise. So back to this, number 2. So it's got 0, name, 1, race, 2, nation, 3, gender, 4, height. I could always say I plus 1 here so that it doesn't have 0 as the name, but and then I can run it again with the same idea. Oops, 2, and then I've got name, race, nation, gender, height. And you can see then I can do the same thing as I did here. I can say if the answer is 1, I can ask them for an input. If the answer is 1, then and it displays all the names. If the answer is 2, then it displays all the races, nations, etc., etc. So you can see what's happening there. Tom, I know you're only joking, but my mod is deleting your messages, so apologies for that. Make sure you are keeping it, keep the chat, that if anyone was to come by and read, then they wouldn't have any issues with it, wouldn't think you were actually saying anything wrong. Okay. Anyway, so like I say, there's a lot of different things there. And you can always add more things here. You can always add more things. In the programming project that you're going to get, whenever it is that we end up doing it, it's probably going to be in class at this stage, unfortunately. But whenever it is we're going to end up doing it, these are the kind of things you're going to need to do. So if you want to re-watch this this YouTube video to help you get your head around it, I will have a look at your different files, and you can just send me a message on Show My Homework if you want me to have a look at those. I'll keep those open for a little while. These expire in 16 days. So if you want to work on it over the holidays, then you might want to make sure you save your work so that you can like copy your text into a document or something so you can actually save it. That is our hour done. So as I say, I really hope this can be useful for your programming. Have a go, see if you can get something something done like that yourself, where you can select and you can kind of put in there, you can maybe print out all the different names, or you can print out if the user decides that they want to see the information about Kennedy, then it will show them all the information about Kennedy. It will say his race is elf, his nation is Hobbiton, his gender is male, his height is 2. Yeah. So all of those different things in there are there. So has someone come into my thing and deleted things? That's not useful. Okay, I am going to end it there. So I hope that, as I say, was useful. Please re-watch the videos. I hope you have a wonderful half term. If you haven't already, please make sure you've submitted that theory lesson homework, and which is to do that test. I will make sure I've put that up on Show My Homework for those of you who have forgotten. Please don't forget that. Please have a lovely Easter holiday, sorry, and I will see you afterwards. Okay.